The air in Evergreen Meadows smelled like fresh-cut grass, chlorine from the community pool, and the faint metallic tang of passive-aggressive neighborly judgment. Every blade of grass had to be exactly 3 inches. Every mailbox had to be the exact shade of slate gray 47. And every resident knew that Victoria Langford, Vicky to her loyal subjects, ruled it all with a smile sharper than her acrylics. I'd moved here 6 months earlier because the schools were good, the commute to my Boston lab was doable, and the HOA brochure promised serene, family-oriented living. What it didn't mention was that family-oriented meant Vicky, and her board decided who belonged in the family. My name is Elena Voss, founder of Voss Provenance Labs. I verify whether a supposed $4 million Basquiat is actually a basement forgery with better Wi-Fi than half the houses on my street. My company's quarterly liquid assets sat at $11,246,613 the day everything exploded. It was the annual Evergreen Meadows Thanksgiving potluck, held in the community clubhouse like some suburban cult ritual. String lights, plastic turkeys, and a spreadsheet of assigned dishes so nobody brought the wrong casserole. I was late, all with London about a disputed Rothko. My laptop was still open on the folding table I'd claimed in the corner, the secure banking portal glowing like a guilty secret. I only stepped away for 30 seconds to grab a plate. That was all Vicky needed. Elena, darling. Her voice cut through the mashed potato hum like a nail on chalkboard. Everyone, come see how busy our little tech genius is. She spun my MacBook around like a game show prize. Time froze. Saw it. Redwood Providence Labs. Total liquid assets, $11,246,613.42. The silence was so complete I heard someone's plastic fork hit the floor. Vicky's husband, Greg, board treasurer and human embodiment of beige, actually gasped. Their daughter Madison, vice president of social media outreach and full-time wellness influencer, clutched her Stanley Cup like it might save her. Vicky recovered first, to her chest, the same gesture she used when fining Mrs. Alvarez $250 for unauthorized garden gnomes. $11, she whispered, loud enough for the back row. And yet our playground equipment is rusting. The pool filter has been on order for 14 months, and poor Mrs. Kensington can't afford her insulin copay because the HOA dues just went up again. She turned to me, eyes glittering with theatrical betrayal. You've been sitting on this fortune while the rest of us struggle? I opened my mouth. Because every eye in the room had already decided I was the villain. Greg cleared his throat, patient. You paid your regular dues? Sure, but you've never once volunteered for the Holiday Lights Committee. You've never donated to the Special Assessment Fund. It's selfish. Madison stepped forward, phone already recording. We're family here, Elena. The word family landed like a slap. I'd heard it before, from my own blood, back in Ohio, right before they tried to drain me dry. I reached for my laptop, holding it high like a holy relic. No, everyone deserves to see exactly how much our neighbor has been hiding. That was the moment the first domino fell. I looked past Vicky's triumphant smirk, past Greg's greedy little twitch, past Madison's livestream smile and locked eyes with Mrs. Nora Whitfield, the 82-year-old widow who'd lived here since the subdivision was built. She didn't look angry, recognized an old friend. And for the first time in 6 months, I felt the cold, precise click of something inside me locking into place. I was done being the quiet one. I left the potluck without my laptop. Vicky promised she'd keep it safe. Translation. She was screenshotting every tab she could open before the sleep timer kicked in. I drove home in silence, the kind that feels like the air before a tornado touches down. By the time I pulled into my driveway, my phone was already exploding. Group chat, Evergreen Meadows neighbors red heart. 87 new messages. Most of them variations of, "How could you let us suffer?" Vicky had posted the bank balance screenshot to the HOA Facebook page with the caption, "Some of us give everything we have to keep our community beautiful. Others apparently have other priorities." Broken heart. The comments were a masterclass in suburban cruelty. Typical millennial. Bet she bought that Tesla with money that should have fixed our cracked sidewalks. Time for a special assessment vote. Make her pay what she owes. I sat in my dark kitchen and did what I do best. I started investigating. First, I pulled every HOA statement I'd ever received. Paid in full, every month, plus 3 emergency special assessments totaling $9,400. I had the receipts. Then I went deeper. Vicky's Instagram, at Vicky Langford HOA Life, was a shrine to curated suffering. Posts about tight budgets, sacrificing for the community, praying for our pool fund, all while tagging luxury brands and geotagging 5-star resorts. September 14th. Our playground needs new swings so badly loudly crying face. Please consider donating to the HOA fund. 3 days later. Selfie at Canyon Ranch Spa in Tucson. Caption, recharging, so I can keep serving you all woman getting massage. July 22nd. The pool filter crisis is real, friends. We may have to raise dues again. July 23rd. New white Range Rover in the driveway. Finally treating myself after all this stress. Self-care isn't selfish. I cross-referenced every emergency invoice the HOA had sent me. The $3,200 emergency pool liner replacement, paid to a company whose owner was Vicky's cousin. The $2,900 clubhouse roof repair, no permit on file with the city. The roof looked exactly the same. I built the file the way I'd built hundreds of forgery cases. Timeline, paper trail, contradiction, proof. At 3:17 a.m., I opened my banking app and hovered over the recurring HOA payment. $412.50 monthly dues. My thumb shook. From rage. I canceled it. The relief was immediate and vicious. Then I did something even better. I emailed the entire HOA board, including Vicky, with the subject line, regarding the public misrepresentation of my financial contributions. Attached, every single payment I'd ever made, certified PDFs, plus the 3 special assessments. Body, 1 line. I look forward to discussing this at the emergency board meeting you just called for Friday. I hit send. Within 90 seconds, my phone rang. Vicky. Voicemail. The voicemail was a masterpiece. Elena, sweetheart. There seems to be a terrible misunderstanding. We're all family here. Call me back before this gets complicated. I smiled at the dark ceiling. Complicated was exactly what I wanted. The emergency board meeting was standing room only. People brought their own folding chairs like it was a revival. Vicky sat at the head table in a new cream cashmere sweater, looking every inch the wounded matriarch. I walked in wearing the same blazer I'd had on at the potluck. I carried a single black binder. The room went dead quiet. Vicky started with her signature move, voice cracking, hand to heart. Elena, we never meant to embarrass you. We just want fairness. And those of us with means have a moral obligation. I opened the binder. Slide 1, projected on the wall. Every HOA payment I'd made for 6 months. Highlighted. $11,837.50. Slide 2, the special assessments. Paid before they were even due. Slide 3, Vicky's Instagram post about the pool crisis, right next to the wire transfer confirmation to her cousin's company. The room started murmuring. Vicky's smile froze like Botox gone wrong. Those are internal matters, she stammered. I clicked to the next slide. Canyon Ranch receipt. $6,800. Dated 2 days after the Emergency Playground Fund email blast. Madison actually whispered, "Mom, You said that was for the HOA Christmas party. Vicky's husband Greg tried to stand up. I kept going. Slide after slide. New car lease. Private Pilates instructor. All charged to HOA accounts while residents were told the budget was devastatingly tight. The murmurs turned into outright shouting. Mrs. The one with the illegal garden gnomes stood up. You fined me $250 for gnomes while you were vacationing in Sedona on our money? Vicky tried the victim card again. This is a witch hunt. Elena is trying to destroy everything we've built. I closed the binder softly. No, Vicky. I just brought the receipts. The meeting dissolved into chaos. 3 people resigned from the board on the spot. Someone started a petition to recall Vicky. I walked out to the parking lot feeling lighter than I had in months. My phone buzzed. I answered anyway. Elena Voss? A man's voice, calm and professional. This is Mark Shapiro with the Philadelphia Chronicle. We received an anonymous tip about misuse of homeowner association funds in Massachusetts. Would you be willing to talk? I smiled into the night. Mister, I said, I have quite a story for you. The Chronicle article dropped on a Monday. Front page. HOA president treated dues like personal ATM. $187,000 in missing funds traced to luxury spending. They had everything. The cousin's shell company. Sick IT guy recovered. Even Madison's private stories bragging about Mom's black card.
Thank you for clarifying.
By noon, Vicky's Instagram was gone. Her Range Rover was parked in the driveway with a for sale sign. Greg stopped leaving the house entirely. The board called an emergency recall election for that Friday. I didn't campaign. People started showing up at my door with casseroles and apologies. Mrs. A garden gnome wearing a tiny President Voss sash. Friday night, the clubhouse was packed again. Same string lights. Vicky arrived late, makeup streaked, clutching a manila envelope like it was a life raft. She tried one last performance. I made mistakes, she said, voice trembling theatrically. But I did it for all of us. Lena has turned us against each other.
I stood up.
No, Vicky. Each other the day you decided our money was yours. I projected one final slide. The recall vote results. Vicky Langford, 11 votes. Elena Voss, 187 votes. The room erupted in cheers. Vicky's face went the color of old drywall. She tried to speak. Greg stood up, red-faced. This is illegal. We're suing. Rachel Monroe, my corporate counsel who flew in just for this, stood from the back row. Actually, she said, loud enough for everyone, the Massachusetts Attorney General's office has opened an investigation into multiple counts of wire fraud and embezzlement. Your lawyer should have received the subpoena this morning. The silence was beautiful. Vicky looked at me one last time. Not with anger anymore. I leaned in so only she could hear. You wanted fairness, Vicky. The final HOA meeting of the old regime happened 3 weeks later. I was sworn in as the new president wearing jeans and a hoodie that said, HOA? I hardly know her. The first order of business. We repealed 37 of Vicky's most insane rules. No more 3-inch grass mandate. No more fining people for unapproved holiday inflatables. The pool filter was actually ordered and paid for with the $43,000 we recovered from Vicky's cousin. Vicky and Greg sold their house at a loss and moved to Florida. Madison rebranded as a trauma-informed influencer and now sells essential oils to people who hate taxes. I kept the black binder on my desk. Every time a new resident complains about something petty, I open it and remind them what real abuse of power looks like. Last month, Mrs. I with fresh banana bread. You did good, kid. she said, patting my hand. Took me 30 years to realize you don't owe people just because they share your zip code. I smiled. Once. But better late than never. She leaned in, eyes twinkling. Now, about that gnome ordinance you're thinking of repealing. We laughed until we cried. Sometimes I still drive past Vicky's old house. The new owners planted wildflowers everywhere. No one has found them yet, and every Thanksgiving, the clubhouse hosts a potluck where nobody checks bank balances. Nobody records anyone, and the only spreadsheet allowed is the one tracking how many pies we need. The air still smells like fresh-cut grass and chlorine. But now it smells like freedom, too. And if you ever move to Evergreen Meadows, just remember, pay your dues. Follow the reasonable rules. And whatever you do, never, ever let Vicky Langford see your laptop. Thanks for watching, fam. Story in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want to see what happened when Vicky tried to sue me personally, well, that's a whole other video. See you in the next one. Paid, and never let them see your balance.